As we celebrate Earth Day, environmentalists are pushing for Denver to double down on recycling and composting.
As Denver 7's Rob Harris explains, a proposed change to trash services would incentivize people to cut back on trash.
For Tara Toll, being green has been a way of life for a very long time.
I just think composting is the greatest. It's so easy. Every time I open that cart and throw in a bunch of waste from my yard, I think, what a relief. I don't have to go bag this up and put it in the trash bin.
Toll believes in her composting bin and the recycling bin next to it so much, she's made it one of her life's missions to get more of her neighbors in Denver on board.
If they started recycling and composting, or increasing the amount of recycling and composting, that would make a huge difference to the carbon footprint of that city.
It turns out she's got her work cut out for her. In 2020, 26% of waste in Denver was recycled or composted according to the city, well below the national average of 34%. The city of Denver this month announced a goal to double recycling and composting over the next 5 years, getting to 50%, and then to 70% in 10 years. One of the proposed ways to get there is known as pay-as-you-throw.
The idea is that city programs and policies should encourage sustainable behavior and support it, make it easy to do things like recycle and compost, and discourage behaviors like throwing things into the landfill.
The whole idea of this program is it flips the incentives of waste in Denver on its head by offering composting and recycling at no extra cost. And then on the flip side, those who throw a lot of trash will pay more for larger containers. Programs like this have seen success in other cities across the country, including here in Colorado.
I think our recycling numbers speak for themselves year after year.
That's Tyler Bandemer, solid waste superintendent in Loveland. And he's not kidding. Remember that 34% national average? Loveland's been way ahead of it for years, about 58% last year, and above 60% before the pandemic.
I think a lot of communities could learn from the things that we're doing.
Loveland has had a pay-as-you-throw model since the early 90s, and Bandemer says that, combined with the composting and recycling at no extra cost, has been key to their success.
It's really been a big factor for Loveland's program, and I know a lot of communities are looking at this. Just the fact that we give so many options to get rid of all these materials that don't need to go in the landfill.
For Denver 7, I'm Rob Harris.
And Denver City Council is expected to discuss the pay-as-you-throw program next week. Similar measures brought up in the past have never been adopted.
Recycling takes more than just putting the recyclables into a bin. So we want to give you some tips so you can make sure that you are making the impact you want to be making. The EPA says before recycling plastics, check the type of plastic to make sure it will be accepted by your recycling center. And if you're recycling cans, don't crush them. EPA actually says crushed cans are harder to detect during the sorting process. Also, if you're recycling glass, make sure it's not broken so it can't hurt workers and damage equipment.